Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing the part 2 of the Hobbyking Cat build. Now if my camera can focus, you will see that we'll be installing the pushrod adjusters onto the servo arm. This servo arm is for the ailerons, and as you can see, the pushrod adjuster is too big for the servo arm. So I'm going to be using a combination of the nail file on a pair of nail clippers and small screwdrivers to make that hole bigger. I would ensure that the pushrod adjusters can rotate freely within the holes. Here I had to screw the pushrod adjuster in, but you don't want that, you want it to rotate freely. Okay, we have that finished, and right now I'll be installing the motor mount for the motor. This is just really simple. Use some glue, hot glue, to get that in. Just fit it in. You really don't have to see this, but I showed you guys how simple it is, and I'm using a scrap piece of foam to spread the hot glue around. Alright, with that finished, with the motor mount finished, we are now going to be installing this motor mount, the metal cross, onto the motor, and then the motor onto the motor mount. As you can see, we are not using the V-spec motor because one, the holes were too small. Sorry, not the holes were too small. It did not come with the motor connections are 2mm, and my ESC has the standard 3mm bullet connections. So I bought new motors on Amazon. Check the links in the description. Alright, ensure that you are installing the screws where there's a depression in the screw holes. As you can see here, I'm trying to focus that so you guys can see better. Yes, there is perfect. No, come on. Yes, there is perfect. You see there's a depression there. I think that's what they call a countersunk depression, so that the screws can fit flush into the motor mount. So the top of the screws will not be impeding anything. And I'm just about to finish installing the last screw. I wonder what I'll do after that. Right, see, it's flush against the metal cross, and these are the other two screws that came in the bag with the motor. So, oh yes, I remember this. So these screws are not long enough to pass all the way through the motor mount. Yes, I'm demonstrating it now. Okay, the screws are also too big to fit through the motor mount. No, come on man, you're wasting time. You know it wouldn't fit, don't bother. So right now I was contemplating going to a family member to borrow their drill to make this hole better, but I thought, you know what? Nah. I have some screws that came with the servos, and these worked perfectly. Okay, so these are the servo screws. I'm going to fit it in, and then ta-da, the screws work. But I want to fit it in so that the motor leads are coming out from the bottom. As you can see here, they're from the side. And then just before I install the other screw, I'm going to install the screws in a cross fashion. So this is the top left. Now I'm going to install the screw on the bottom right, and I just realized that, oh no, the wires are coming out of the side, and I want them to come out for the bottom. So I'm just going to unscrew that really quickly. Rotate, and then screw it back in. Lovely. Then I'm going to finish up screwing on the other side. this was bottom left. I'm going to screw in on the top right, and that's all that's all the screws I'm going to use. I am not taking any more crap from this build. Okay, so the motor comes with 2 orange props. Right now I am measuring the props against the 6x4 inch Durafly prop that I bought from Hobbyking, and they're the same length, so I'm electing to use the orange prop because it appears to have greater pitch and by default greater performance. I'm installing the propeller now, but then I take it off to realize that, hey, I'm going to test the ESC. I don't want to put the prop on for safety reasons. And yeah. Okay, so right now I am naming the Aquacat in my transmitter. Yeah. I am really liking this voiceover thing I'm doing now, because this was very annoying to listen to. And I've also sped up the video here. So yeah. Okay, so right now I'm going to bind the receiver to my transmitter. I'm going to plug up everything. Actually no, right now I'm just plugging in the ESC so I can get power, and I'm plugging in the auxiliary to the auxiliary power. To plug in the bullet connections, just plug any 3 wires into any 3 of the leads. It doesn't really matter. But if it's not going the correct side, you could always undo 2 of the wires and switch their places. Right, plugging up the ESC to power. Actually no, I turned on my transmitter first. Yes, this is the blinking light. It doesn't blink that fast. In reality, I just sped up the video. I turned on my transmitter while holding the trainer switch, and as you saw on the screen, bind, throttle, boom. Okay, I was flicking a switch to activate the reverse thrust right now, but it didn't work because I need to hook it up to the gear switch instead of auxiliary. Alright, so right now I am looking at my my push rods, the length of the push rods. So the shortest push rod is going to the elevator servo, which is the servo on the tail. The 2 push rods that are the same length, those are going to be your aileron servos, and your longest servo is going to be your rudder servo. Sorry, the longest push rod is going to be your rudder push rod. Okay, those 2 are for ailerons. This long one is for the rudder, and the one in my right hand, which is going to be the shortest, is going to be for the elevator. Okay, right now I did a dry fit, put everything in there, and what am I going to do now? Oh yes, your elevator servo lead is going to be quite short, so I've elected to put the receiver at the back with the aileron and rudder servos. Right now I am taking the prop to do a test fit, because obviously you don't want your propeller to interfere with your elevator servo. Does not sound like it's gonna be a good time. So just trying to tuck it out of the way, and yeah, I have clearance there. Thumbs up, very good. Alright, so this is the hook and loop tape, also known as Velcro tape. Velcro is probably a trademark something, so that's why it's called hook and loop tape. I'm going to tape my I'm going to tape the receiver, yes, that's the word, receiver, to the side of the airplane. As you see, I was not strong enough to pull the tape apart by hand. Alright, on with the show. Alright. So I'm just gonna measure it out a little bit. Man, I should have sped up this video. I wasn't sure what I was going to be seeing. Okay, so basically I'm installing hook and loop tape to the receiver, and I'm going to install it onto the plane. I'm going to speed up the video now. Alright, so yeah, installing the push rods and the control horns. So these are the control horns. The Cat graciously supplied me with some, and they come like this. So what you're gonna do, boom, and then you're going to place the control horns facing the servo. So if the servo is this way, put it this way. To control, if the servo is this way, put it this way, because you want the servo here, and then the push rod to go directly to the control horn. I install control horns on the aileron. I haven't done anything for the rudder, because as you see, I put it here, but then it was too high. It would have interfered with my prop. So I'm going to put it lower, but in the meantime I decided to do the ailerons because the ailerons are reasonably difficult to do. So let's see, can you see that? No, you can't. Boom, okay, you can see that. So to get the most leverage out of this push rod, I'm going to put it in the biggest hole, just the hole at the top. Boom. And we want okay. Just have to rotate. The push rod a little bit so that this zigzag pattern can lay flat onto the elevator. And yeah, it would fit flat. So let's see, I'm going to just push it through the foam to make an indentation. Then I'm going to use my craft knife, which is over here. I should probably put something on the other side of the foam so that if the craft knife punches through, it doesn't punch through on my finger. Okay. Then I want to do cut across. Cut across. So when I push my control rod through, the entire piece of foam will fall out on the other side. And boom, there it is. Now I turn it over, and where is it? Here is it. Let's clear off excess foam from around the control rod. Right, and then this plastic piece here, one side is flat and the other side is curved. You put the flat side against here, against the foam. So, and boom, that should hold it. Again, maybe because of my lack of commitment, but I'm not going to glue it in, just in case I have to move it again. Then I'll do the same for this other side. Okay, so right now I am just going to test my servos. I'm going to center them with my servo tester, and right now I put it to automatic so that it just goes through the full throws on either side. When you're centering your servos, make sure that the controls are actually neutral and then you can tighten it on your pushrod extension. Alright, I'm checking my rudder now. I'm gonna move the plane so that you can get a better view. And yeah, you don't want that to happen. The pushrod is bending, and don't worry, I'll fix it. Stay tuned to the rest of the video so you can see how I fix this problem. Then I'm going to check the aileron servo. Right, and neutral. Yeah, that's not good either. So what I did for that, the aileron servo, I just widened the hole on the servo arm so that the pushrod holder can rotate freely. As you see here, I have fixed that issue, so it's all good. Yeah, just make sure that you open up this hole on the servo arm so that you don't have that weird chafing issue. Chafing is probably not the right word, but whatever that was, I did not like it. So make sure you open up the hole on the servo lead. Okay, ladies and gents, the AquaCat is done. Well, almost done. Still need to put on the cover, and glue down here. But yeah, so okay. One thing you guys should do is when you're installing this piece here, ensure that these brass nuts can swivel freely. When I was doing the aileron test with the servo tester, I'm sure you guys saw that it was kind of struggling to turn, but no, it's all good. Let's install my LiPo, turn on my transmitter, and do a quick test. Alright, I have my throttle cut activated so that it doesn't do anything. That's the rudder. I attempted to use some braid ties, as you see here, to neaten up this mess. I'll neaten it up some more before I put the cover on. Okay. Rudder. I don't exactly like this this metal wire bending like this, but I'll deal with it later, maybe. Elevator. As you see there, we have a lot of throw for the elevator. I am going to correct that in the transmitter soon. Yeah. On, and I'm going to deactivate my throttle cut. Okay. Why does it do that? Okay, so as you can see, I trimmed my throttle. I did the throttle trim, brought it all the way down, closed, and now I'm going to slowly bring up the throttle trim so I can see how much I'm actually losing by having it trimmed all the way down. Okay, throttle is closed. Interesting. Right, and the throttle is turning the right direction too. So let me clear some space on the ground so you can see my thrust reverser in action. Okay, now this is the test of the AquaCat. So, crap, you can't see that. Let's see. Yeah. That's elevator, aileron, rudder, and now for throttle. Now this is also going to be a demonstration of the reverse thrust, and I've put it on some pool noodles to illustrate that. Okay, so I'm going to deactivate the throttle cut. Actually, let's see if I can do this. Yep, throttle cut, deactivate, and forward. You guys saw it roll forward there. Now here is my gear switch. Flip that gear switch. And it goes backwards. Flip the gear switch again. Let's okay, so I'm now also looking at my rudder. The rudder is going the wrong way. But I'm going to reverse the rudder after this test, but that's forward. Hit the gear switch. And okay, it's kind of stuck. Let's try this again. Alright, so Cat works. Forward, throttle cut. Yeah, Cat works. So now I'm going to reverse the rudder. Ensure that the ailerons are going the correct way, and then I'm going to glue the top off and finish off this video. Ladies and gentlemen, the Arcticat is finished. So I've glued on the top of the aeroplane, I have glued in the motor mounts, I have secured the elevator servo lead with some paper tape to ensure that it doesn't interfere with my prop. And let me show you how I did my battery cover, because this is actually kind of interesting. So when I was gluing the fuselage, with the top of the fuselage, I only glued up to the front downboard, which is approximately here. I glued up to the front downboard and I had everything else loose because I was trying to figure out what to do. But here's what I did. So the front was glued and I cut along this black line here. I cut a notch for the ESC power leads to go inside of the fuselage. Cut out, then I cut around on this black line. Then I cut straight across and this entire piece came out. So what I did after that was I took it off, laid it flat against itself, and I ran some tape on the inside. Then I closed it back, ran some more tape on the outside. So now I have a hinge similar to how I did the hinge on the rudder, but there's no bevel. I did no beveling. For this pull tab here, I cut some tape the width of this notch, ran the tape outside and looped it onto itself. So now I have a strong hinge here. I actually cut this battery compartment out, then glued the rest of the fuselage, but I would suggest that you guys glue the fuselage if you're going to glue the entire thing and leave your receivers and everything glued down. Glue that down. If you want to do like me, cut just behind the other downboard, because the other downboard is here. You want to cut behind the downboard and leave this piece free and glue everything else down before you cut your battery hatch. Now this contraption here, what I did, I just secured, oh yes, I put some hook and loop tape or velcro tape behind my ESC and on the fuselage here. I also put some velcro tape here inside the battery compartment so that when I put my LiPo, I can secure it and it wouldn't roll around when I'm doing maneuvering. I can secure my center of gravity and have everything locked in. Right, and for the back here, I had a lot of holes from when I was poking holes in the fuselage to run my push rods. I had some holes free, so I ran some what is this thing called? I ran some zip ties through the holes and I secured this top hatch with the zip ties. I did this just in case I have to access my receiver or the servos, just those bolts, those the push rod nuts. Just in case I have to access that stuff, I can just remove this zip tie by cutting it or pushing a stiff piece of metal through here to remove it. And because the front of this compartment, this rear compartment, kind of flies away, I ran some tape on it. Whoops. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the Arcticat is finished. Now, and that was it for the Arcticat build video. Stay tuned for the next video where I regale you on my experience building this particular aircraft. I will tell you everything I did wrong, and in all honesty, that video should be the first video you should watch if you plan on building this particular aircraft. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.